Hello and welcome everybody to 5% Chance. I am Devin. I'm going to be the keeper for this campaign tonight, and I should probably say that this is our Monster of the Week campaign. So yes, this is our Seattle Paranormal Investigations Monster of the Week campaign. This is your first time joining us. Hello, welcome. It's probably not the worst episode you could jump in on. We're kind of at the start of an investigation. I mean, won't be the most confusing. But I am Devin. I use he, him pronouns. If you are not new, if you're a regular around here, you'll probably recognize me from the Wednesday night streams where I play Ding, the wizard. I don't have a follow up on that this week. We didn't do anything this time. So, Ding the wizard. But tonight, like I said, I'm going to be the GM for this game, or the keeper as it's called in Monster of the Week. Before we get started, I do want to thank Erica, our producer, as well as our tech jockey Courtney for helping make this stream possible, along with just 5% Chance as a whole, because they are a wonderful group of people. Tonight's stream, just like every stream on the 5% Chance channel, is sponsored by Sheckler Woodworking, where you can buy very nice dice trays, dice boxes, other wood creations that may or may not involve dice. Really, if it's made out of wood, he can make it. So head on over to his site, check it out, and if you use the code 5% sign and chance at checkout, you will get 10% off your order, because 5% really doesn't get you very far. But that's enough out of me. I'm going to pass it over to our players now and let them introduce themselves. And we'll start with, I believe DJ is the last person I haven't started with, so we'll start with DJ tonight.
I'm glad you remembered that, because I didn't. Hi, everyone. I'm DJ. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Hector Salas, who also uses he, him pronouns. Welcome to seeing the Oogie Spooky Girls trying to get this going. Yeah, I'm keeping it going. We are the Oogie Spooky Girls.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited you're all here, and I'm gonna pass this over to Nick.
Hello there, I'm Nick, he, they, and I will be playing on our resident chicken killer slash Buddhist shaman who uses the Initiate playbook. And yeah, I'm interested to see where this next case gets us to and what weird monsters we get to face this time around. And I shall pass it over to Ian.
Hi,
probably the wrong side.
it's okay. My name is Ian. It is nice to meet you. He, they pronouns. I play the spooky of the Ookie Spooky Girl team playbook. Morgan Yin is their name. And they just just want to live their normal life and figure out the weird powers that they have and maybe make a deal or two. Who knows? Moving on to Anne.
Hi, my name is Anne. I use she, her pronouns. I play Detective Carmen Rivera, the gumshoe, who is kind of like the de facto leader of this group, but she is also currently in a bit of a pickle because she is very superstitious and does not like the coast or the water, which makes this whole investigation really difficult for her. But here we are.
Here we are indeed.
She also uses she, her pronouns.
Excellent. And yes, here we are indeed. Before we get into our mystery tonight, just a quick reminder that this game will include topics such as blood, body horror, demons and monsters, descriptions of shamanistic rituals, including animal sacrifice, aquatic monsters, that one might be important to keep an eye on tonight, general horror themes, and a dark atmosphere. We've established safety tools here between us because my main goal is everybody's having fun, and if you're not, then it shouldn't be happening. So we have safety tools here, but if any of you in the audience have trouble with any of the content going on, feel free to step away from the stream. Don't feel bad about it. The VOD for this will go up right after the stream is done, basically, and then we will also have an edited version on YouTube that you can go back and watch and skip around in. So yeah, stay healthy while watching this. And now, so last week, we had some fun times. We had some very fun key role-playing moments and character growth moments. Morgan may or may not have had a bit of a dream rendezvous with the fox spirit that we met in the first couple of episodes. Got to go full on ritual mode and fix some of that, draw Morgan's power away. At least for now, there's no weird spooky side effects going on.
Don't worry
Carmen,
about it.
yeah, no. Hey, like the less you think about it, the more fun it is.
There's
So
no problem.
yeah.
There are no problems in Boston.
exactly. Exactly. Carmen got to really connect with her one particular conspiracy theorist, Rocky, and get some very, very fun Jimmy Sparks conspiracies, along with a pretty good map of what's been going on in Seattle, finding that these mysteries have been ramping up slowly and seem to be somewhat clustered, with certain cultures appearing more heavily where those cultures are more heavily represented within Seattle. And Hector scored points with the Abuelas, as is possibly the best move that could be made. But when they all went into Seattle Paranormal Investigations to kind of decide where they were going next, Dirk informed them that they needed to go check out Pike Place Market because things there were escalating. Specifically, there had been a collapse down on the docks. 5 or 6 dock workers fell into the water, and 2 were recovered. The other 3 or 4, who knows? And there's also been some vandalism at the fish market, which just don't do. It's the fish market. It's like, it is central. You leave that alone. So our team went down there to do some investigations, and I believe decided they were going to 8th generation. Was the last thing that we mentioned, as Carmen stared out at the water with a bit of trepidation, and the water may have been staring back just a little bit. So,
It's just reflections. That's what water do.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just reflections.
I need you all to appreciate how much I want to sing, but know that we don't have rights to things. We're not, but it is playing up here. You all know what song.
Less than 30 seconds, right?
Covers are allowed on Twitch as long as it's not like exact recorded version of any given song.
Yeah, I
got it. So if I try to
I
sing
did-
it, it'll be bad enough. It won't be recognizable, and we'll be fine.
Parody law. Parody law.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh no, but like I did look this up, having modded for music streamers before.
Perfect. So I will kind of let y'all take the reins here, as I assume we're heading to 8th generation, unless that has changed at all. No?
Nope. Sounds great.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, and Carmen's energy kind of shifts in a sense. It's not really that she's handing over the reins or anything, because she doesn't view herself as the leader. She kind of views everybody as like on equal footing, but she does kind of step into the background a little bit more. She's more on high alert, observing more than usual.
Sounds good. Does her energy change at all when we get to 8th gen, because it's not facing the water? The water is actually behind, like it's out of her view.
Yeah, I think that she is still tense, but like less on high alert, if that makes sense. Like she's, just walking into the place and kind of like, okay, that's later problem. That's the kind of energy that she's trying to have, at least.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Makes sense.
Perfect. Fantastic. Yeah. So you all head to 8th generation, and walking in. It's a very nice shop. It's kind of a little bit almost like an art gallery in the way it's set up, like the wood floors, the kind of white paneled walls with all the slats in it so that you can hang shelving, wherever you need to. Fairly simple layout, just some tables sitting around with a lot of different goods on them. There's, you've got blankets, you've got towels, you've got socks, you've got jewelry, like basically anything that could be made is being made there. You see some plaques kind of with a couple of these different, like, it looks like collections of goods. which, as you glance at one of them, it looks like these are all from different artists that they're sort of promoting or partnered with for their different native-inspired goods. And you do see one gentleman at the back kind of working the cash stand. He waves at you as you come in, and hey, thanks for stopping in.
She asked Mishki, and I'll nod. It's Ishishkeen, which is one of the languages in the Pacific Northwest, saying good morning.
Perfect. So yes, they he gives you a nod and responds, and it's like a Thursday afternoon. It's not necessarily a busy time, so you kind of have the store at the moment. He's not too distracted. He kind of makes his way over to you as you come in. Are you like headed right to him, or are you kind of looking at the wares as you walk through?
I would probably start heading more directly towards him. Not in like beeline, I'm angry kind of caring way, but in a like, I'm here with a purpose. And
Okay.
but you'll notice Hector will slow down a little bit when he walks by the wool blankets and kind of like run his fingers gently across them, with a very big smile on my face.
Yeah. Hey, welcome in, Nick.
Hello.
I was just gonna say that she's still sipping her coffee, very, still drained, and so she's just looking at all of the artwork, just walking around. She's leaving all of that talking to other people right now. She's not in work mode.
Oh, good. And Eugene's probably staying somewhat within On's shadow, just in case. Yeah. Hi. Welcome in. Is there something I can help you with?
Yeah. Hector will, since it's just us, be pretty like jovial and pretty just direct with it, like he usually is. So we're here we've heard there's been some mishaps in Pike Place, and I'll point over to them. I know that you all aren't in the market, quote unquote, proper, but I was wondering if you had heard anything or known anything. I know that from what I understand, y'all were there for a while and have since got this beautiful storefront, but it's been going on for a while, I think.
Yeah, we've been hearing a little bit here and there. We, like you said, we used to have our store there, and so we still have some friends. We have connections, and honestly, somebody's messing with the fish market. That's pretty big news for anybody around here. And with the collapse down on the docks last night, it just seems like it's ramping up. It's cops say it's vandals or kids being kids, but I don't know, like, why the fish market, Like, everybody loves the fish market.
So you haven't seen anything? I know that there are odd things that happen here. Anywhere, really, but especially with the history of this place.
Yeah, that's true enough. This is an older part of town, and we've got, it used to be the city's first mortuary there, that Butterworth building. I think there's an Irish pub in its basement now, but, it is what it is. But, there's always ghost stories, and some of the locals, I don't know, they keep saying they hear, like, hoofbeats down Post Alley at night, which is odd. We have horses, like horse-drawn carriages and stuff around here sometimes, but not this time of year. That's not, it's a little out of season, to say the least. And there's always stories about things in the water.
Anything specific?
Most recently?
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, go ahead and roll plus charm for me. Let's see how convincing Hector is being.
Oh,
how
no.
endearing Hector is to this.
Oh no. I'm not trying to manipulate though.
No, no, this is just how comfortable he's gonna be like spilling everything.
I got an 8
Hey, that's
because I have
decent.
a -1 to my charm.
Perfect. But hey, that is passing. Um, so he kind of weighs it back and forth and he goes, a couple of the dock workers, I don't know, some of them talk about mermaids, some of the ones that are a little more accustomed to the waters and the cultures that are on the water, you know, say they might be sirens or, well, there's a few names for them depending on who you talk to. I think one of the guys I was talking to called them. Oh, please. There we go. Called them Magandara. He was from the Philippines, I believe. But you know, basically beautiful women with fishtails, and there's been a few reports of singing down on the waterfront at night, but I haven't heard it. But I also don't usually go down by the water at night. I'm here. I close it up shop and then I head home.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you. That's helpful and gives us a point of potentially to start at.
Yeah. And you see this guy kind of seems to be weighing something back and forth, and he goes, "So are you guys looking into this kind of stuff? You seemed really cool with those explanations."
Oh, and Hector will chuckle. Yes, we're with SPI, the Paranormal.
Ah, yeah, I've heard of you guys. You take on all the weird stories around town. Seems
I didn't know we were making names for ourselves.
if you run in the right circles, you are.
Oh.
If you know the circles that know what's going on in the city a little more than your average citizen, they're aware of you.
Oh,
And
what circles are those?
the circles that still have a little bit of belief in, I don't know, the old ways, the cultures, the myths, you know. People
Sororities?
you know, oddly enough, there is a sorority over at at SPU that very much seems to hang out in these circles. But no, just it's a mix of citizens. It's a mix of people from around town. Just people that are, I guess, a little more occult than your average person. People that have some belief in magic and the things that go bump in the night and whatnot. You know, that kind of stuff.
Oh, I get it. That makes sense.
Who are generally more with cultures that understand the realities that we actually live within.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But look, I don't know if this is gonna help you, but I know there's been these cases seem like they're ramping up lately. I feel like I keep hearing you guys popping up around town a lot more frequently now than you used to. But there's an old story that kind of got passed down just parent to child. It's not a real common one. It's not one that really made it into the histories, whatever. But there's a few families that tell stories about way back in the old days, back before Seattle existed, back when Chief Seattle was around. And I'm going to attempt this pronunciation for anybody that knows the pronunciation better than me. I apologize if I get it wrong, but his name, as we knew it, was Chief Sealch, and there were stories that there was a spirit sort of this land, of this area, of the people here, that sort of brought life to some of the stories of Chief Sialch and his people. And I mean, after the city went up, that story kind of dropped off, but there's a few of the older members around here, a few of the older citizens who've kind of talked about it on and off here. I don't know if it's anything helpful, but they seem to think that something like that could, I don't know, bring things to life, bring things out that maybe have been hidden for a while.
Okay. Do you know where these people are? If we could speak with them, or?
Anyway, do you guys have a card? I can make a few calls and see if any of them are willing to talk. They're old and they're not inclined to talk to people usually, but I can see what I can do.
I don't think we do have a card, do we? It turns to
Hector
the rest of the
will-
group.
Hector will jot his cell phone number down
Okay.
and write his name and with like SPI next to it.
Yeah.
If anyone is willing to talk, we would appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll see what I can do for you guys. But if you want more info about what's going on around here, I mean, like I said, I hear stories sort of secondhand, but I know anybody working in the market is probably going to hear more of them. And I know the guy at the magic shop is always, he's always telling rumors and gossip, and don't know how much of it is true, but he might have a few stories for you if you want to touch base with him.
The market's our next stop.
Thank you so much.
Of course, and thank you guys for, I don't know, keeping an eye on stuff.
We do what we can.
Yes. Awkwardly, like, salute, attempting to do that similar, like, salute that, I
Jimmy
think
Sparks
Jimmy
was doing.
Sparks, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Morgan doesn't know what to do, but recalling a hero of this town.
An's already walking off.
It's just out the door.
Yeah, doesn't even wait.
Hector will purchase a scarf before he leaves.
Excellent.
And definitely put that on and nod to leave.
Perfect. It is a little bit rainy if you're not from Seattle. It's it's misting. So the scarf is not a miss, that's for sure. Okay. So yeah, y'all head back over to, kind of head down First Street back over towards the market. On and Morgan, both of you roll. No.
I shan't.
Okay, we'll just mark experience. No. Roll plus sharp for me. Let's see how good your eyes are as you're walking.
What do you mean?
Oh no, I'm wearing sunglasses. I can't see.
Question.
Answer.
I do have a move called the Sight that lets me see invisible things, especially spirits or magical
I do too.
influences.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason
May
I'm
I-
asking you two to roll.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Should
I
I
rolled
roll
9.
instead of using that? I'll roll first. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Basically, the
That-
fact that you two can see invisible things is what's instigating this roll.
I got an 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And 9 for me.
Perfect. Okay. So, Morgan, we'll start with you. As you're walking, like, On's out that door in front of you and kind of not exactly taking point, but definitely more in front of the rest of you all as you're headed back. You almost miss it, but like as you're kind of looking around at, just the shops and there's like people yelling and screaming about something or other. It seems like joyful yelling, but it catches your attention. But out of the corner of your eye, as you kind of look to the side, you almost see a flicker of that reddish twine rope around On. But when you look back,
Oh,
it's
boy.
not there. And On, as you are walking, you, again, it's always out of the corner of your eye, but anytime, like, on the corner of buildings or down alleys, you keep seeing what you think is like spiders, it almost looks like. But again, every time you go to look, it's like it skitters back. You can't really seem to pin it down.
See.
I think at some point, like, I noticed that she just actually just looks off and then just stops walking and just stares for a bit, sort of like wondering if she actually saw it or if it will show back up.
I'll follow her gaze and see where she's looking at. Is there anything there? Can I try to actively use the sight this time?
Yes. Yeah. So as you're sort of you're trying to focus in on that like brief image you saw. So roll plus weird
Okay.
on this to kind of try to focus that brief blur.
Okay.
And on, if you also want to try to focus on it, you can roll plus weird as well to see.
My newly increased weird. Oh,
I got an 11.
I also got an 11.
Ooh, look at you two. Seeing all the spooky things
We have a theme.
that you do. So yeah, as you're both kind of staring down this alley, and it, it's a little shadowy down the alley. You're probably back almost near Pike Place at this point. Probably kind of coming up to where the fish market is, and there's sort of an alley that drops off down below that you're able to kind of peer into. And there, like, when you first look, it's very shadowy and it's hard to see. But as you both focus, those shadows coalesce. And Morgan, you recognize this as the spider you saw in your dream.
Oh, no.
Crouched in the alley, staring directly at On. And On, you also see this big, spooky, like, red and black spider staring at you. Which... Mhm.
Oh, goodness. Freaking out. Morgan goes, on! And reaches out to grab her arm to pull her back, to try to push her behind Morgan to impose themselves. Raises their hand instinctually, but then realizes kind of where it comes from, and then lowers it, instead takes out the 9mm and points. Their hand is like shaking. And stares back and says, "Go away!"
And
You
so
should.
you...
Yeah.
Yeah, so you point this gun down into this alley, and it's a spider, so this shouldn't be possible, but you swear it smiles and sort of just like skitters back into this wall of just gum. Just all kinds of gum, and it almost like just fades back in between all the gum, and it's just gone.
You saw that, right?
I'm guessing you're acquainted? Because I've never seen the spiders or the threads before, right? So I wouldn't necessarily know the correlation.
Yeah, I would say, because you've seen the power in general, so you probably picked up on those same vibes, but this is definitely the most concrete you've ever seen of it.
Morgan is shook to their core and just goes, yes, that spider was in the dream. It was one of the 3 that I'm somehow connected to with my
3.
weirdness. Quickly puts the gun away, now realizing that like they just pulled a Glock out of nowhere in the middle of Pike Place, broad daylight, and like puts it back in their jacket and goes, I thought you sealed them away, or took them away from me. It was around you, the threads.
So it's taken an interest in me.
Apparently.
Okay. This'll be fun. And then she just pats Morgan on the shoulder. Don't worry about it. This isn't my first rodeo. Also, don't touch me again. Let's go.
What do you mean fun? Wait!
Look, in my line of work, you get weird things following you around wherever you go. most important thing is don't react to it in fear, because most of these things, they feed on fear.
Oh.
And also,
Okay.
a gun usually don't work on them, so don't pull it out again in public. And then she sort of looks around. Did anyone see that entire thing? Because we are in public.
So there's definitely somebody at the fruit stall like across the way that's kind of looking at you and like is like cutting up slices of apple for like samples to people. It kind of looks at you for a minute and just like shakes their head and it's like it's not worth it. Like I'm just not. This is not my job right now. Like I'm just here to hand out apples.
I think realizing the kind of like what coming to the senses of what is happening out in public now and realizing where they are, Morgan just like shrinks themselves again. Kind of zips up, like buttons up their kind of like black denim jacket, tries to make themselves smaller, and just kind of trails quietly behind, on realizing like they accidentally like crossed maybe a boundary with them, or at least in their own mind they did, and kind of just goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to forcefully touch you. Uh, I won't do that next time. You're right." And then kind of bows in a weird way and shrinks to follow them.
Yeah, she acknowledges that, but doesn't really respond. Then she'll go, "So you said there are two others. Are they also spiders?"
No, one plays an instrument, a harp of some kind, I think. Another is a weaver, like a seamstress. Like they have some kind of, thread and needle and spindle. And I don't know.
She just sort of like hums and then just continues walking as she's sort of like trying to process what that could mean in her brain. And then she's walking like 10 steps and then she stops. Oh. And then she turns around, looks past Morgan, and looks at the other two, Carmen and Hector. "I have no idea where I'm going. Where is this magic shop?"
Turns around.
It's in the actual market. You should probably make sure they don't get lost, Hector. And then as Carmen kind of joins up with the group again, she kind of asks and tries to be like casual about it. Think about mermaids. What do you guys think about?
Mermaids?
Answers without thinking, Ariel.
Hey. Carmen smiles and nods. Yeah,
guess-
she's one of my favorites.
Old sea
On
shanties?
approves above.
And,
Yeah.
and luring men to their deaths into the ocean?
And so
Sounds-
as they're walking and talking about sirens and stuff, he just says, have you heard the stories about the cannibal mermaids?
Hannibal.
No.
The Majandara, the mermaids, the creatures that were mentioned in the shop earlier.
Uh-huh.
They are cannibals. They eat people. And I've personally never met one, but my family, my grandparents, my parents, they tell stories about them to scare me and my cousins into, obedience and good behavior. Totally not scarred at all. And she looks towards the direction of the water. Totally not scarred at all. And she refocuses her attention to her group. Yeah, so I've always kind of grown up being a little bit afraid of the water.
Are they monsters or are they ghosts?
No, they're not ghosts. They're in the stories I've heard, they're actual monsters. Did I mention cannibals?
We don't have to
Really
do
weird.
this. If you
No, no, no. You know what? I I want to. I mean, I don't, but I do. And honestly, all I've got to go on with is old stories that my family passed down. I don't know that they're real, but it kind of sounds like they are. I don't know. But it seems to match up with a lot of the stories I've heard. Um,
Morgan reaches out for your hand to like hold in theirs. Um, you've been so supportive of me ever since you've met me and you didn't have to. And stories can be powerful, even though they were told in a way of controlling you by fear. So you're not alone. And you asked me earlier if I was okay. I lied. I'm not. And it's okay to not be okay. And we can be not okay together. So if you don't want to do this,
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of scared. No, wait, I'm actually terrified. But in weird way, a part of me wants to know if the stories are actually real. I mean, what happened to the other guys who fell in the water? They only found two of them. There were like what, five of them that fell in?
5 to
Seven?
6, yeah.
There were five. There were five of them? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and only two of them came back up. Like, we should at least gather more information. If there happened to be a real thing, then, you know, if it's too much, I will step away. But for now, we're looking for information, and part of my job has always been about looking for information. I've been told my curiosity is a problem. I think it's a solution, honestly. So for now, we proceed. At least I'm not proceeding alone, which makes everything at least a little bit manageable. And she gives Hector like the most grateful smile.
I
You
got
know?
your back. And then Morgan hugs you just like really quickly.
Yeah,
And, like squeezes.
quick hugs. The
Like roll plus
important
no.
thing. What's the stat for hugging?
Weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
Yeah, absolutely. It's roll plus weird.
Absolutely.
Hugs are
weird.
magic. This is
Supernatural
accepted now.
hugs. The important thing about being in a part of a team, especially when we're dealing with a lot, is to communicate. So thanks for checking in. Check in with me again the closer we get to the water, and then we'll see how we go. Play it by ear.
Okay.
At least we're moving away from the water towards the market, right? Like, it's fine for now.
You're kind of
Ish.
just headed parallel to it, but when you get to the market, the magic shop is like in the market and like on a lower level, so you will be inside. You won't be able to see the water. So, progress.
Does it make sense to look at where the collapse happened? And I know that I say this knowing that that's not going to be where you'll want to go, Carmen. What I'm offering is
Are you volunteering? I could make a call and see what police are doing in terms of investigating in the area. Listen, if there happens to be a cannibal mermaid out there, I don't necessarily want you going there alone or without me.
On will have my back. Right. Looks to On.
She just smiles and holds up the coffee.
You're better with people.
I'd rather deal with cannibal mermaids than some potential hag pulling rabbits from hats.
Oh,
All
So
right.
what I'm proposing is we once again split the party, but Carmen and Morgan, you're good with people.
I am?
You're yes, you are.
Oh,
Your innocence and genuineness really goes a long way.
oh, thanks.
Yeah, like as you're walking and Morgan, you're like, I'm good with people. There's like some busker that has rolled a full like piano down onto a corner that's playing that like leans out and just shouts at you, "You absolutely are," and then goes back to like playing his piano.
That's a real person too.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. All right. She looks visibly nervous at splitting the group up. You know, specifically because cannibal mermaids. However, Hector has made some compelling arguments, so she's like, okay, but please, 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 please text me if there's anything that happens. Try to text me before the cannibal mermaid gets you.
Yeah.
She
I
tries,
won't text
she
from the
tries to
inside.
she tries to make a joke. Like, she's very
Mhm.
uncomfortable, but she's trying to make a joke. Like, text me before the cannibal mermaid gets you.
We will not touch the water, so nothing will pull us in. Okay?
Okay, yeah, unstable structures, don't step on them, because that's how they all fell in, remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll turn to head that direction and stop and go, oh, I forgot, and toss you another little package. You'll
Okay.
notice that it's a scarf from 8th Gen as well.
Are we twinning?
No, it's a different color, please. We have different palettes.
No,
And,
I know. Are we? But are we? No, she opens the package to find the scarf and just says, "Thank."
While it's not enchanted, I believe that things that are handmade hold the emotions that people use when they're making them. And what I know about 8th Gen and the really talented folks who make everything, protection's a huge thing. So even if it's not...
They have excellent vibes.
They
the
have
sword.
excellent vibes.
Yeah. This is great. Thank you. And she puts the scarf on. Like, it looks a little weird with her, like, trench coat or whatever, but she's just like, loves it anyway. It's a pop of color.
On, Eugene, shall we?
Lead the way.
So we split the party.
Yeah, let's do it. Eugene is like kind of being enthusiastic for a change. Like Eugene's getting into this a little bit. He's like, these people are cool. So you all head into the market because like going down through the market is the quickest way to the waterfront. But as you head down, Carmen and Morgan, you split off to the magic shop, and we'll follow you first while Carmen and Morgan head to the magic shop while Eugene, On, and Hector head down the stairs to the waterfront. So, Carmen and Morgan, you cut through Pike Place, passing a few bookstores, few like just art stores, it seems like various paintings, drawings, statues, what have you. And you come up on this just like wood paneled storefront, like old wooden walls just covered in like magician and psychic posters, like old school magician and psychic posters, like the hand drawn ones you might see from like the early 1900s, maybe. um, and as you step inside, the walls are just lined with bookshelves. Like it's bookshelves all the way around, bookshelves up and down the middle. Yeah, there's, guides on sleight of hand, there's like trick rings, there's props, there's like various magicians paraphernalia. There's a back corner that's just full of old like fortune telling and palm reader machines. And you step inside and there's a very tall, slim man, kind of behind the counter, very, very well dressed. Not obnoxiously so like Kira was, just this is a guy that kind of takes pride in, looks a little bit like a magician, dressed to the part just a little. He probably enjoys his job a bit. Very close cut, well, not close cut, but very tightly curled black hair and a beard with just two kind of strips of white at the corners of his jaw. And he gives you a very practiced bow as you come in, and just says, "Hello, welcome to the Market Magic Shop. How can I help you today?"
Hello, hi. Um, we are here, my associate Morgan and I are here to investigate some of the stranger goings on in the area. Detective Carmen Garcia, and she pulls out her business card from like her actual day job as a detective, and just to make it look legit, because she is investigating things. and we're wondering if you might have any information about the goings on around here.
Why, thank you. And he'll reach out and grab the card and kind of looks at it and does like a quick flick with his fingers and like you're assuming has like tucked it under, I don't know, like a bracelet maybe or a watch or something that you can't see under the shirt sleeves, but very good like disappearing act with the card. It is a pleasure to meet you. I'm James. I work here at this wonderful establishment, and I might have just the stories for you. So you want to know more about the strange going on here in Pike, right? All these.
It's a lot.
Oh, it always is. I'm assuming you've heard about the collapse down at the docks, yes?
Yes. Well, the police are investigating, of course, as is standard practice for events like that. But I've heard stories about songs and music, sirens, maybe. I'm investigating more of the supernatural side.
And you say you're
Yeah, what I'm
investigating
saying.
the supernatural side, and just the biggest fucking grin splits across this guy's face. Like, so stoked to have somebody that's like, yeah, we're here for the spooky crap. He's like, yes, I'm all about it. And he, when you say like heard about the sirens, he goes, very close, but I have it on good authority that they are a particular brand of sirens amongst the, I believe it comes from the Philippines. They are known as the Magandara. They're vicious creatures. But, and he pulls out from somewhere this little baggie full of like reflective scales, like rainbow hued, like every which way they turn, it changes color, like fish scales, and holds them up, and he goes, but they have gorgeous scales, if you would like to see, and hands them over.
I have so many questions, but the first one is, how did you get those?
I make a lot of friends, and those friends go places that they probably shouldn't. But these ones were they were found down by the waterfront. I believe he said they found them rubbed off on some of the pylons for the docks. He knows that I like unique things, so he collected the sample for me and brought it in. But if you're looking into them, this seems like something that you might want.
Yeah, something worth analyzing and checking out. What's in it for you?
Joy of spreading a little magic, and, well, let's be honest, if the docks keep collapsing, people aren't going to want to come here, and I do very much enjoy this job.
Fair.
He kind of settles back and he goes, but if you're looking into strange things, there's also been a bit of vandalism here in the market. If you might be willing to look into that as well, I would take it as a personal favor.
Well, consider it a trade for the scales and helping me with my investigation. So, what do you know about the vandalism? Whereabouts is it? And got any ideas who might have done it?
I personally think it's a what more than a who, but it's been, well, the fish market has been the biggest hit. Specifically, their shrimp all seem to be disappearing. And I mean, certainly some of the other stalls.
Something's hungry, isn't it?
And he kind of does a finger on the side of the nose. Got it in one. You've probably heard about the hoofbeats in the back alleys around here along Post Alley. And
yeah, what's up with that?
Well, along with the hoofbeats, there's also been sounds like scraping metal, which on their own both would be odd, but my bet is there's another Filipino legend I've heard of about the Bawa, which there's a few different interpretations of it. One is a demon. Kind of looks like a centaur, long black hair and dark skin. But there's other versions of the Bawa. Different spelling, of course. B-A-U-A versus B-A-W-A, but it's a bird. Wants to eat the moon. Strangely, I seem to find a lot of things that want to eat the moon as I learn about the exciting sides of life. But there are some tales of it that say this bird has a beak like steel and feathers like swords. Now, if it was just hoofbeats or just the metal sounds, I might be at a loss, but together? Well, if legends are coming to life, could be that one got a little mixed up, or maybe the interpretations are working together.
Do you suspect that something is bringing these stories to life?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but there certainly has been a lot more spookiness around the town lately. A lot more interesting things happening. And, I mean, you all seem to have been rather busy lately, if my friends are correct in the reports they give of your escapades around town, of saving the International District just last week, it sounds like.
Oh, you know about that?
Of course. I know about everything in this city. I like to keep a finger on the pulse.
So you're part of that sorority?
You mean Delta Nu? No. I unfortunately don't meet the qualifications for a sorority, but I have friends. And from outside the shop, you hear somebody yell, "You're also full of shit."
Um, I have a question, Devin.
Yes.
James,
Yes.
does he appear to have some Filipino origin, or is he just someone with a lot of interest in different stories
He's
of
someone with
different
a
cultures?
lot of interest in different stories and different cultures. Like you get the feeling that this dude is just he wants to know it all. um
Capital B, capital N, big nerd. Okay, got it.
yes, absolutely. This dude works at a magic shop and absolutely loves it. He is a huge big nerd. Um
Is he hot? Sorry. Did I
you know
say
what?
the
Roll
correct
plus
word out
sharp.
loud?
Let's find out.
Oh my god. Okay.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's tall.
I rolled a 3.
Not a
Apparently
3.
not no. There's an
You know, for
advancement.
whatever reason, you're having a real hard time focusing
I'm
on this guy's face. So you can't
Tunnel
really
vision.
tell. Yeah, no, tunnel vision, like, you're focused on the
Carmen is-
scales in front of you, so he may be the hottest man you've ever seen. He may be really just a
he's
collection of parts. It's hard to say.
Talking nerdy to me, and I'm digging it, but I'm not paying attention. I'm just like,
I
Um,
have another question.
Mhm.
The other person told us to be wary, I guess, like of this person that talks a big game. I think hearing that other person call out from the outside of like you're full of shit, it snaps Morgan into it thinking of like, oh, like yeah, maybe we should be a little bit more cautious of what information is being handed out. Is there any possibility that this man, James, may be lying to us or misinforming us or trying to lead us astray in any sort of way?
Okay.
I don't know
So
if
are
that's
you-
a move or anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a couple of ways I could see doing this. Are you trying to do this just based on, like, kind of your reading of his body language, his tone of voice, that kind of stuff? Or are you trying to, like, use your powers a little bit and get a vibe for whether or not he's...
I think Morgan's a little kind of shaken up by like the powers recently and wants to like stay away from that. So just more on vibes.
Perfect. Then go ahead and roll plus sharp. We'll treat
Okay.
this like read a bad situation.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a bad situation. You're just trying to read a situation.
Okay. That's a 9.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah.
So, this dude 100% believes what he's saying.
Okay.
This dude might also just believe anything that
Okay.
sounds cool. Like,
Got it. That's
like
where
he fully believes what he's saying, but your mileage may vary. Like,
grain of salt. Got it.
yeah. And from outside the store, this very, very short person comes in, wearing just like a yellow polo. Looks like they stumped over here from work. Hair's like shaved close on the side, kind of spiked up into a faux hawk on top, with like stud earrings. Just sort of stomps in here and goes, "Jesus, James, I could hear you from Golden Age. Would you shut up?"
Friend?
I think Carmen just says, "I'm sorry. I got him a little excited. We were just having a nice casual conversation."
This person like waves you off there, like, no, don't you take the blame. This is on him. He gets excited about anything and everything. And it kind of looks at
Devin.
Morgan and it like gives you like a kind of, because you asked if they were friends. They're like, kind of work friends.
Oh.
Yeah. Can Carmen pull out her phone? I know this isn't exactly how the move works, but I would like to send a text to like my contacts, just saying, "Games at the magic shop, full of shit or not?" ? And see the like what comes back. So then, the idea is I could to kind of figure out whether I could use information that James is giving out, and then have that be the +1
Yeah.
for my my one move. Or
Your
no,
investigate
wait,
a mystery. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yes. So absolutely, you could. So you pull out your phone and kind of text your group of contacts. James from the magic shop, full of shit, or like you just or ... question mark.
yeah,
Immediate response from Rocky, who's like, James knows everything. Best dude. Trust him implicitly. One of your cultist contacts fires back, and it's just like 50-50. Gets good info, sometimes a little too enthusiastic. Like, the cultist people are like, this dude believes too much sometimes. Or sorry, not cultists, the occult people in general.
Yeah. They're just like
Yeah, they're like,
the
I mean,
occultists are like
yeah, the occultists are like
Rocky
grain of
is
salt.
just like
Yeah, Rocky, full send. Rocky's like, yes, absolutely.
I love that he's part of the sketchiest group that Carmen knows, and he's the one that's like, trust this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In that case, if I'm going to do an investigate a mystery, I am going to have a +1 to the roll.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Rocky is my homie. They have never led me wrong.
Yeah.
Besides,
Absolutely.
you know,
So yeah.
if you can't trust the person doing illegal stuff for you, who can you trust?
Absolutely. So, yeah, so you get this, and you'll have that +1 later, but, you know, you send off your text of, like, James, should we trust them? You know, Rocky's full send of, like, absolutely occultists, or, like, mileage may vary. Meanwhile, you're looking at this very small person from somewhere nearby, kind of starting to shout James down a little bit just for being loud and, like, way too enthusiastic about stuff. And the camera sort of shifts and pans away to on Eugene and Hector as they are headed down to the docks. So, as you're walking, you do vaguely in the distance just hear, and you're full of shit, and then, like, it kind of peters off. But, so you guys get down to sort of the waterfront level, you know, cross over couple blocks to get onto the waterfront, and are sort of walking along. And from what Dirk told you, it looks like the collapse happened over near the Seattle Aquarium, which isn't too far from where you're at. You just kind of got to walk down past the big Ferris wheel, the Great Wheel, as they call it on the dock, and the, like, ye old curiosity shop. And it's sort of like there in between the Great Wheel and the Seattle Aquarium that the collapse happened.
Wait, just to clarify, the collapse happened at the aquarium. Is it inside the aquarium or in the area around it?
No, it's on the boardwalks, sort of. It's between the aquarium and the Great Wheel, which, again, people from Seattle, I know I'm taking liberties. Deal with it. There's a dock in between those two now. But it's like on the far end of this dock in between those two spots that collapsed.
Because I was, like, ruminating in my head of the idea that the aquarium somehow managed to take one of the cannibal mermaids as an exhibit.
Oh my god, I might rewrite what I had planned, because that's great. But no, it's kind of the spot in between the two. So, like, definitely they could be involved, but...
Okay.
So we're getting close. Do we see, like, benches or something that one could sit at and see the damaged dock?
Yeah, for sure. There are some benches kind of along the side of the Seattle Aquarium, before you actually get onto the aquarium grounds, just along the side of the building, that you could sit at and get a pretty good view of it. And it would be fairly quiet over there. That, or if you went over on the other side of it by the Great Wheel, it's a little louder and there's more, like, people walking by, so you might get, you know, be able to sit and eavesdrop a bit. But there's food stalls and like tables and stuff over there, so you could easily grab a seat there too.
I'm gonna try to do some magic, so I'm gonna want the quieter side of things.
Sounds good. So you can head over to the aquarium and kind of take a seat along the wall there. You're a little further up from where the collapse happened, because collapse was away at the end of the dock. The back part of this is part of the aquarium, like it's their outdoor area. So you're maybe a little bit up from it, but still with a pretty good view. And you can see it's just like the end of this dock just has fallen into the water.
But if I stand up and look over the side, I can see like where the water is.
Oh, yeah.
And okay.
Oh yeah, no, like you get full view of it. You're just a little bit further back.
Cool. I look at On. I'm like, well, I've never done this before, but let's see if it works. Okay, I should roll. Should I tell you what I'm trying to do first, or should I roll first?
Tell me what you're trying to do.
So, under Use Magic, there is the ability to see, observe another place or time.
Okay.
So I would like to try to look back in time to see what caused the collapse.
Okay. Absolutely. So go ahead and roll plus weird for me.
Mm-hmm. I got a 12.
Ooh. Yeah, so you do that.
So what On will see is I'll take off. Hector wears glasses, so he'll take off his glasses. Again, 2 fingers touch the focus. We'll trace the outline of on the frames, and then I'll put them back on.
Okay. Fantastic. So yes, as you put your glasses back on and the magic sort of takes effect, it's not quite like you are fully transported, but like the wind sort of starts to swirl around you because you use so much wind within your magic, and it's like you start to see those trails of the wind, and it sort of starts blowing over this area and slowly reconstructs what was there before. So you see where the dock ends, and then your magic, the winds, are sort of tracing out the dock to the end, and you see people moving around. You don't get great definition. Unfortunately, this is not ultra high def wind. It's like SD.
Okay.
You know, the wind's still working with like VHS tapes. It's not the most beautiful, but it gets the job done. So you see like the shapes of the dock workers moving back and forth. It looks like they were like offloading a ship. Given this area, it was probably one of the duck boat cruises that like pulled up here to do a quick like restock of things. And you see him kind of walking back and forth and back and forth. And then you see one of them just sort of like stop, almost just like in a stupor, and like their head tilts to the side, and they sort of start looking out towards the water. And they start walking towards the end, and the other, slowly each one sort of turns and starts walking towards the end of that dock. Where you can see the vague details kind of get sharper around some of the bindings of where that dock is being held by the pylons. And you see a long clawed hand come up and pull at those bindings and break through them. And sort of like the underside looks like it's been sort of worked on already, and it just collapses, dropping these 6 men into the water. Because, reports were 5 or 6, you weren't sure. But you see 6 shapes fall into the water. And then you do see what looks like the outline of a mermaid sort of leap up out of the water onto this group of men. Looks like biting up against one's neck, if you had to guess, and sort of like grabbing 2 others and catching one with sort of like the elbow and dragging them down underwater. Just like rapidly, and they don't serve, like you see bubbles for a bit, and then it just goes still.
The clawed hand looks similar. Like I can be like, yes, this did this.
Yeah. Well, actually, how much would Hector know about Magandara?
I'm comparing it to the clawed hand I saw come up to break the bindings.
Oh, to what? Okay, yes, yeah. that same hand, absolutely, or at least very, very similar if it's not the exact same hand.
It does say, because I am fishing now.
Yeah.
On a 12 plus, you do offer me some other benefit from my weird magic usage.
Yeah. So you will. So you've seen sort of how this thing hunts and operates. Thanks to that, going forward, you will have like +1 on checks to try to hunt this thing or locate it, or to avoid or protect against its attacks, because you have an idea of how it does it, so you'll be able to better inform. So you'll take +1 onward, so it's not +1 forward. It is anything that matches that situation: hunting it, protecting someone, trying to fight it. You'll take a +1 on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will
Anything?
take off the glasses, pull my clean them, put them back on so that everything's on. Yeah. So I would assume the Magandara, but definitely Siren Mermaidy broke the bindings, made the collapse happen, took 4 of them very quickly. They also stopped first, one at a time, but all 6 of them stopped and started walking towards the edges, but like in a stupor. So we'll have to ask, unless you know, can the Magandara like beguile people?
I am sadly not that knowledgeable about these type of creatures, but if we are dealing with cannibal mermaids, and then you can see she's sort of like, it's almost like pulling teeth what she's about to say next, even behind the sunglasses, and she'll go, I feel like I must mention to you that my magic will be useless in this case. It only works against ghosts and spirits.
Fair. You're also still a pretty strong practitioner and have done this a lot, so I trust your general knowledge of the occult, even if it's not your specialty.
If it can beguile people, there is some things that I can attempt in order to block it out, but I will need a space in order to do it, and I cannot be distracted.
No worries yet. I'll pull out my phone and text the group chat. Can Magandara beguile or control people or lure them magically? Like, as you see, it's like full like running thought.
I am trying to look through my notes because I'm like, wait, do I know what they do? What did
Go
the
and
story
roll-
tell me?
Go ahead and roll plus sharp for me. Let's see how much Carmen remembers of all these stories.
I rolled a 9. Oh wait, is
Dan?
this okay? I guess
You can use your +1 on this if you want to, or you
okay.
can save
I was
that.
gonna say, can I just
Yeah.
hold that for something
Yeah,
else?
you can just hold that for like a later investigation if you want. But from what you
Okay.
recall, they certainly do. There are mentions of them having enchanting voices. How that gets interpreted kind of seems to vary depending on your storyteller and depending on the medium in which it's being portrayed. But it wouldn't be outside of possibilities that they might be able to sort of enchant or beguile people with their voices, with their song.
Yeah. So, Carmen will relay this in the group text thread and say, "It's entirely possible. Don't let them sing at you."
Definitely saw reconstructed scene magically. Saw mermaid / Magandara / siren / fish woman take 4 of the dock workers probably should prepare to deal with Magadara.
The question goes back. You only saw one?
I saw one leap out of the water in the reconstruction.
Like, Morgan sees Carmen replying to this text, and there's like a reluctant expression on her face, like she doesn't want to type what she's about to type. But eventually, Hector and An see the next message. Do you know if they have friends?
Can only confirm scene 1 in the reconstruction. But it did take 4 people. So, would one Magandara eat 4 people?
Is looking over Hector's shoulder to look at his match. She didn't put out her own phone, and then she'll go, ask her, do they always travel in packs, or are they solitary creatures since they're animals? She doesn't answer. Did she ask you to type it for her?
Well, like, stop and look at An with the look of like, really? Seeing An not move and continue to stare back will then ask the question and mean like, why am I doing this? Like, you just like count out Hector and be like, I don't work for. Okay. So you.
I do not. I'm trying to remember what I know about this story. They don't tend to travel in packs, do they? I guess as part of my sharp roll. Do I recall if they travel in packs?
You know what? I'm gonna let you decide. Do they travel in packs? Or do they usually work solitary?
Yeah, I guess that's an interpretation thing.
I could also give you an answer if you would prefer that, but
she sends a text that says, I only know the stories I've been told. I've never heard them travel in groups before. But at this point, but at this point, I just want to cover my bases.
Yes. Seeing that, Anne is gonna go. Ask her if they are aquatic creatures, or are they like whales where they're mammals? Do they have gills or do they have lungs?
Once again, you'll see Hector look at An, but this time we'll look farther to Eugene to be like,
on the other side, Eugene is just looking back at you like terror face, like, I'm so sorry. She just does this. I'm so sorry. Like, kind of mouthing it at you, but very much trying not to attract An's attention.
do they breathe via lungs or gills? Are they mammals or fish? Or both? I don't know. That's literally what it says.
The reply just goes a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
The answer is yes.
Morgan's gonna ask James really quickly. Do you sell earplugs in this store?
Well, do you want normal earplugs or do you want trick earplugs?
Normal ones.
He kind of sighs and it's like, yeah, they're over there.
Thank you. Oh, and can I also have? I think Morgan may have found one of those, like, the things where you pull the napkin, but it's like it becomes like a long rope as you keep pulling.
Okay.
I also want this. Takes the rope, and then takes the earplugs. Can I have these 2 things, please?
Or you could certainly buy them.
Yeah. No, I meant to buy.
Carmen holds out a credit card because she's the one with the day job, and just says, "Hey Morgan, consider it a professional expense," and then she pays for it.
Oh, thanks.
And then she looks at James and says, "Hmm. You know, it's been real fun having this conversation with you. Um, certain things have come up, but I have to say, I've had a great time chatting. You should give me a call sometime."
Morgan's like looking between the two of them, being like, "Did I miss something here?"
You
James,
absolutely did.
yeah. James gives a very, very deep, very nice bow. It's not like overly fancy, but it's clean. Like it's a practiced bow. And you see that card come back out from where he had like tucked it in his sleeve, and he definitely puts it like into the pocket where he's got like his wallet.
Yeah. I may be paying for my associate today, but you're paying when we hang out. And she takes her credit card back and puts it in her wallet. And then like all of the stuff that was purchased for Morgan,
Oh,
she
Thanks.
just Carmen, very smooth.
After all the way
And
away,
you,
Carmen is making a move on someone. It was like,
Hector's just like, ding.
Does Hector have like a spidey sense for Carmen like making a move?
yes.
they're just linked. Yeah, and then the last thing she says is I'll work on that what was it, the Bawa? There's the two different versions are conflicting, but if Bird Horse the horse version walking around, then I'll check it out. I'll check it out for you. Only because
Much
you asked so
appreciated.
nicely.
And from behind you, you hear the other person just like, ugh, and like turns and leaves and heads down the hall towards where, you know, Golden Age Collectibles is at.
Who heard that guy?
Oh, that's just Kim. They work down at Golden Age Collectibles. They're very much a skeptic.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, sure, I understand a healthy dose of skepticism, but that was just straight up unfair to you. Like, they had a problem with you being enthusiastic and passionate about something? Jeez, that seems a little unnecessary.
They're also a bit excitable. They mean well though.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
definitely, you're
sure
getting the
they
vibe that like it's the kind of friendship where they both definitely just give each other shit constantly. But like it's
Okay.
understood on some level.
I better get started on the investigations. Maybe check out the vandalism. I don't know if it's connected to the horse creatures yet. I'll work it out. She reviews the photo of her conspiracy board. She's not necessarily like keeping it super hidden, but she has like a digital version of it on her phone, and she's looking at the different things that are connected. And she says, "Give me a call when you're off the clock." Is there anything else you need, Morgan?
No, I want to make sure that I have enough earplugs for like 4 of us at least, not
Okay,
just like
yeah.
me. Okay,
It's
good.
they come in like a 5-pack, like pairs. 5.
Okay, got it.
God, it'd be great if they were sold as 5 individual, like
I
it's a
I
5-pack
wasn't
of
sure.
singular earplugs. No, yeah, it's like 5 pairs.
I had a feeling that's what Morgan was doing, so I called it a professional expense.
Oh yeah,
Just
no,
like,
it's Garmin will absolutely write that off as a business expense when doing taxes next year, like 100%.
No,
Um,
I figured this could potentially help the problem down by the docks, like shaking the earplugs. Um, this is maybe helpful. I don't know. We might need rope. I don't know.
no, I can see the vision, Morgan. I can see the vision.
Thanks. Text
um,
the group. I have rope and earplugs. Send.
Hmm. Anne sort of frowns behind her sunglasses, looking at the text on Hector's phone when Morgan types that. Didn't know they were into that. Okay. Leans back.
Wild.
Hector
um,
will put his phone away and actually look at On and go, "Okay, Cannibal Mermaid, how would you deal with this? If we weren't here."
I mean, based on Carmen's very vague descriptions of what they can do, they're essentially aquatic creatures. And so all aquatic creatures are sensitive to high noises and fire. So I would make a Molotov cocktail and also potentially get a stereo from a nearby shop for cheap and then play the loud music underwater in order to repel them if need be.
Not science.
Your mind is delightful, and you are kind of terrifying.
I'm gonna go make some Molotov cocktails. Come, Eugene. And then he walks off.
Eugene sighs and he's like, yeah, okay, I've got the bottles and rags. Like,
The Mary Poppins of things in that
Yeah.
bag that Eugene carries around.
Hector, real quick for me, roll plus sharp.
oh my god.
12.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So, as you kind of watch Odd and Eugene wander off to whatever dark corner they're gonna make Molotov cocktails in, you notice across the way, over by where the Great Wheel is and sort of all those food stalls, you see Lauren, the woman from the daycare and the same woman you bumped into at Ujamaya, standing in the crowd over there, seems to be staring at you. And when you make eye contact with her, you see her kind of like jump and like turn and scurry kind of deeper into the crowd, back into the shops back there.
I will definitely make note of that, but I will not follow at the moment because let's not split the party even more.
Absolutely. Great.
So I will follow on and catch up to them and just be like, so what's your preferred propellant in these? Let's see, we'll start talking shop about making Molotov cocktails. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And that is where camaraderie strengthens between Anne and Hector. And then
And Eugene actually takes a surprisingly active role in this conversation, like is piping in with ideas and like, well, I did research on it and like, here's the things you should use. And I feel like at this time you might all meet back up with Carmen and Morgan if you guys were headed this way. You can sort of find them having a very spirited conversation about how to best make Molotov cocktails.
Well, here are the earplugs. Just in case, you mentioned mermaid siren beguiling. I figured if it affects our hearing, maybe we could stop that with these. Passes the earplugs out to everyone. And they didn't have like rope at the magic store, so I kind of just got this and just keeps pulling the bunch of handkerchiefs all tied together.
Tell you what, Morgan, roll me plus weird.
Oh goodness. Okay.
I don't know if I want you to succeed or fail.
I don't know either. What do I have? Okay. Okay, that's not bad. That's a 9.
Okay. It's pretty good. So yeah, you keep pulling and like you know it's supposed to just be like a trick gag thing. Like there's definitely supposed to be a lot in there. You realize as you're kind of pulling this that there is like a sizable pile at your feet, like way more than
Oh.
should fit in this can, and it still just keeps coming as you keep pulling.
Okay, I didn't realize. Wow, he was really generous with this. Like, looks, doesn't know how to open the can, but just keeps pulling. Maybe I'll just stop. We'll just stop there for now. Puts it.
Car-
Uh,
Carmen
gathers.
looks at Morgan kind of amused, and then she is deep in thought. And I'm gonna throw something at you, Devin,
Mm-hmm.
because Carmen has a realization that there is a version of the story about the Majandara that
Mhm.
is less mythical creature and more like demigod, where
Mhm.
she has like an evil, vicious sister, but the Majandara is actually the nice sister. So, hey, chances that we're meeting up with the nice Majandara and not the evil eats all the people one.
So roll
50-50.
plus sharp.
It's a. I am going to use my +1 forward from the Naked City, and then I'm going to. Nuts! I rolled a 4.
Well,
Feels
there's
bad.
another XP.
So I don't. Look,
So,
we're
you know-
advancing so hard.
Carmen thinks about this, and you kind of run through like, well, Hector definitely saw something jump out of the waves and grab 4 men and drag them under, possibly biting one. But I'm optimistic. You think that this might just be the nice one.
She's holding on to that little hope, but then
Yeah.
she's like, she's got, she has her like, oh geez, what is it? She does have, oh no, she gave the switchblade. She gave the switchblade to Morgan and has
Yeah.
the
Yeah, the
pistol
big
instead. So she has
Morgan's big knife, yeah.
or big knife. Okay, yeah. So she's just checking her weapons, and she's just like,
I mean, unless
I don't
Carmen just
know.
has multiple switchblades and just grabbed another one, which, like, I'm here for. I'm down for it. Like,
dual wielding switchblades. I don't know. I just was looking at my sheet.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she probably. She's
Would
right.
Carmen
She's
have tucked the shotgun under her trench coat?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's
Okay.
packing.
Didn't leave it with the car this
She's-
time. Brought it with. Got it.
No. But she is considering the favor she said she'd do for James, and then she says, "Let's get this over with." Because there's something else that's happening in this market that is super weird that we should check out.
Are you sure?
So yeah. You know what? Let's do it. The bow wow are. Oh no, we haven't determined which version of that it is yet. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, and James seemed to have a theory that it might be both of them, potentially.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Found out that some weird stuff's happening in the market, but let's narrow our focus and figure out what happened to the dock workers. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Do we know how to? Can we kill this?
I
Oh.
don't know.
So, anybody who would like to go ahead and roll me plus sharp. See, through a mix of impromptu searching, texting / calling Dirk, and innate knowledge.
I
Let's
am
see.
I am not doing great. I rolled a
I rolled
3.
double 1.
Whoa, okay. Well, there's 2 more XP for us.
How are we doing to our next advancement? We are
You
rocking
are at
it.
4 right now.
It's a
Which,
great
for our
night.
viewers, we did realize we forgot to do the questions at the end of last session, so they got 2 more XP and got their nice advancement. So, we were starting from 0 in case somebody is counting along, because, I don't know, you might be. Hector, did you roll for that as well?
I did, and I got an 8.
Okay, excellent. So, Hector being apparently the tech-savvy one, it seems like, to some extent. Well, Eugene's probably the most tech-savvy, but you kind of do a couple of searches and also think to just text Dirk, because while Dirk doesn't trust most technology, he does keep his cell phone because he understands their use. And he fires back to you and he's like, yeah, like, stories say that they are repulsed by purity. So, like, if any of you are pure of heart and maintained your childlike wonder, maybe. Outside of that, from what I can tell, they're a creature. They're physical. Kill it. Just blow it up. It'll die. It might not be the most effective way to do it, but it'll definitely die.
Not if you can
Carmen,
dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
A little bit of that energy. A little bit of that energy.
so Rim is just like, she is just ready to pull out the shotgun and go. But it's like, she's just gonna, whatever it is, if it shows up, she's just ready to commit violence.
I'll also realize that we are still in a public place. And he'll look to
Oh, yeah.
On and say, do you have any...
The person making Molotov cocktails.
You all
In a
found like a
public
shady
place.
corner to tuck in, and
Also,
you know, anybody that walks by might think you're doing drugs, but they're like, hey, you know what? Not my problem. Like, just gonna keep walking.
On, do you have any way to make people go away? Like, that's not pull a gun or something, but like, does any of your magic like encourage people to leave?
Never really tried it before. Most of my rituals specifically targets ghosts and the supernatural.
I
But
mean, I don't really want to use it unless I have to, but I could potentially try to get bystanders to leave.
If you don't want to
I could
use
call-
it, don't. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
I
an
could just-
emergency.
no, it's fine. I have other ways of getting people to leave a certain location.
I could call. I
So-
could call my boss. I could call like
Dirk?
the captain, the police chief. No, on her day job. I don't know
Her
how-
day job
how
boss.
that
Oh,
works.
um,
her day job boss. I could use
Actu-
my hidden city ability. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know it's not the way it works, but she could call it in and be like, hey, so could you get us clearance to that that area? Because I
Yeah.
didn't
So I
get
mean,
the
part of it
other move
is
for
you
it, but
can ask for small favors, but so tell you what,
Just
roll
get us
me plus sharp. Let's have Carmen go through that mental Rolodex and see who might be the most helpful.
my rolls are so garbage today. I rolled a 5.
Oof. All right.
I know.
Well,
Like
hey.
we're winning.
hey, we're gonna hit a new level pretty soon here, so it could be worse. So yeah, you kind of go through that list, and you know a lot of people that do a lot of jobs, but calling on like somebody in the police is where you settle. Like, you might be able to get them to clear the area or like let you out on the docks. And just hopefully you can get it from there without getting pulled into the water or anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Here's hoping.
only other, because Hector, you are also more or less resident within Seattle. Like, you've been there a decent amount of time.
Yep.
So go ahead and roll plus sharp for me. Let's see. See if you can come up with ideas as well.
Oh, I got a 2. Well, a 4, but 2 on the die.
Wild.
Great.
Great, we would level up, I think.
You are one away, but the
Okay.
questions at the end of the session will definitely get us there.
We're having a great time, aren't we?
I've just hit both ends of the spectrum really, really well, and the worst possible ones.
Hector is either totally on top of it or really not. There is no in between. You don't do average. Okay, so yeah, Hector, you can't really come up with a better idea as far as like getting yourselves onto the water. So, you can certainly call on your contacts within the police or just the police chief and see if they'll cordon it
Police.
off for you, or like just
Yeah.
get you out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I could get it cleared through official channels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Oh, this is gonna
and
go
this
great.
one doesn't necessarily. Let's see. Go ahead and roll plus charm. Let's just see how this
Let's
goes.
see how much her boss likes her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not yeah, it's not like an instant thing like the other move, but oh, I rolled a 9.
Hey, there we
Wait,
go.
10.
10
I
because
rolled
you got
10.
+1. Perfect. Great. So yeah,
Yeah.
you shoot the police chief text and
What?
they're like, "Hey."
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, so you shoot the police chief text and they're like, "Hey,
What the-
I need, we need out here onto these docks. Can you like get us access and maybe clear people out a bit?"
Yeah, I tried to sell it to the chief as like, hey, I've got a lead on the disappearances at the docks. Like official that, working on the stuff that she would be working on officially, but not mention the supernatural angle. No, just
Yeah. And yeah, the chief's like, "Yeah, I think I can get you out there. It's, to be honest, we've been coming up with a lot of dead ends on this, and even if you don't bring in a perp, you have a way of making the problem not be a problem anymore. So, sure. Well, let's see if you could make something happen here."
thanks, boss. And then so hopefully having done that through official channels, there's not as many people around.
Yeah. So it's it'll take a couple of minutes for them to get down here, but you know that absolutely they'll come down, they'll get you in, get you set up. But you'll just have to wait a little bit so you all kind of settle in to do that. And as we sort of come to an end for the session tonight, the camera cuts to Post Alley up by Pike Place, down between a bunch of these buildings and down sort of one of the smaller side streets off of Post Alley. It's a shadowy street, and you just hear the sound of hoofbeats slowly walking down the alley. And that is where we will end for tonight. So, let's go over our questions for the end of the session. So, did we conclude the current mystery?
No.
Not quite. Almost. I think we're almost there. Did we save someone from certain death or worse?
No.
I don't think.
No, not yet. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Yeah.
We learned about cannibal mermaids.
You learned about cannibal mermaids. You learned about this legend of a spirit.
James saying that there might be something bringing all of these stories to life. Hey.
Yep.
Oh man, Carmen buried the lead with that one. I forgot to mention it in the group text.
Yeah.
They mentioned it at 8th Gen too.
Yeah. I was gonna say that backs up what you were told at 8th Generation from. I don't remember actually introducing his name, but John, cashier at 8th Generation. Apparently, I was just feeling J names when I was writing out this portion. But So certainly. And then, did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters?
On is
Yes.
being stalked, and I'm being stalked, and
Carmen was
Carmen's
traumatized
parents
as
were
a child.
terrible.
Karma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And apparently,
Never.
Carmen has a thing for tall nerds. So, that counts. So great. So that's two.
Morgan's like, I did not expect to learn this today. I do not want.
I missed all of the riz that was happening between the two. I was just like, I'm here.
So yes, that gets us two, which does get us one more XP. So y'all get to advance again. So yet another
Oh.
level up. So feel free to think about
Going so hard.
But that will be the end of our session, and next time we will deal with these problems on Pike Place and hopefully wrap this all up. And then we are going to do one more session after that. I know next week was originally going to be our last session, but we are now going to push out one more to the, oh God, what is that, the 16th? Yes, the 16th. So we have two more sessions of this coming down the way. But until then, once again, I am Devin. He, him pronouns. If you want to find me, you can find me at gray_wolf_moon on Twitter. But really, that's just me reposting things from either 5% Chance or all of these wonderful, amazing people here. So I'm going to let them reintroduce themselves on the way out. We'll go in reverse order. So starting with Anne.
Hi, I'm Anne. You can find me on Twitter at XO_girlwonder. Wow. I do a lot of stuff on the internet. Just go to Twitter and ask me about it, because I love that. I love when people ask me stuff on Twitter. Let's see, what is happening? Yeah. I do a lot of things, too many things, for this outro. I do want to shout out the Misadventures League on Tuesday, the 7th. Is that what the date is on Tuesday? Yes. Tuesday the 7th, at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I will be wrapping up a campaign called Misadventures with Magic. That is a Kids on Brooms campaign with the Misadventures League. So check that out, and then I'm gonna throw it over to Ian.
Hi, my name is Ian DePriest. You can find me on all socials if you just search Ian DePriest, DE, and then the word priest. I'm on Twitter at IanLDP. I tweet things like this wonderful little actual play show, and random thoughts that I'll have of why did I make myself watch Jujutsu Kaisen and make myself sad. And that's me. I do voiceover. I write and sing things, and I perform things. Thank you so much. I'm gonna move it backwards. I think it was Nick. Yeah, I think it was you before.
Yes. Hello, I'm Nick. You can find me on social media as NickSnat1. That is with the number 1 at the end. Don't really do much stuff on social media besides retweet memes and like film stuff. But if that's what you like, feel free to follow. You can currently find me on another AP with D8 Dungeons. Exactly 8 hours before this session. From now is when we do our games. Every other Thursday. So next Thursday we will be continuing our D&D game of Dragons of Icespire Peak, where at the end of each session we change DM to see what happens and see what chaos it brings. So if you're into that type of anarchy, feel free to stop by. And with that, I'm gonna pass it over to DJ.
Hello again, this is DJ, he, him pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at DJ_KQ. I am sarcastic and nerdy and talk about DEI stuff on it, so hopefully you like that. I also am a regular and on the leadership team for the podcast of The Queer Experience. We are currently starting to plan our season 3, which is really exciting. So if you want to hear a bunch of queer people play a bunch of indie tabletop games, talk about it, and then talk about what it's like to be queer at tables, please join us for that. You can find us where we are, basically anywhere you can find a podcast.
So that will bring us to an end for tonight, and definitely go check all of them out. They're all amazing. They're all wonderful. If you like seeing me, I do the Ash and Shade committee D&D game here on 5% Chance. That is on Wednesdays. We took this week off. I believe we're taking next week off as well. But 2 weeks from now, we will come back to some real big combat involving some level 9 spells because we just hit level 17. So look forward to that. But until then, enjoy yourselves out there. Stay safe. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.